Well, boss, it's not always possible to play brilliantly, but the results are all important, and it feels like a really big result that today.
Yeah, but if you say not possible to play brilliantly, then you have a positive feedback about our first half, because we played really poor. There was only one thing that we did well, that was defending our box, because Forest were the better team, but they did not, apart from after 3 or 4 minutes, create that many big chances. That was all down to the fact that we defended really well in our box. But that was the only positive thing about the first half. We lost almost every second ball. We couldn't hold the ball up front. Balls jumped off our feet. I don't know if that's good English, but we couldn't control the game at all. And but in the second half, the players showed mentality and also a different face in ball possession, because the second half we were the better team, which usually then maybe leads to a draw. But at last, after 6 or 7 months, we had some luck again, because 6 or 7 months ago it was Newcastle where we were maybe a bit lucky, and 7 months later we were for the second time this season a bit lucky.
What do you do at half-time? What do you say to them to make them look like a different team when they came out in the second half?
Now, first of all, address how poor we played, and that actually what I just said, highlighting that the only thing you did well was defending in our box, so that we should take that to the whole pitch. That we weren't aggressive, that we couldn't hold the ball, that it wasn't too complicated for everyone to play 5% better, and to maybe have a bit more mentality in the duels. Okay, apart from that, you also try to tell a few things what we can do better on the ball. And I think that's also what happened in the second half. We were better able to bring the ball out from the back, and if you're better in that, then chances can come as well. And I've highlighted that would not be for the first time this season that the second half is much better than the first half, because we showed that against City as well.
You mentioned the word mentality before, to cope with the disappointment of that goal being chalked off, which I'm sure you're disappointed about, but then to go again, that is elite mentality, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. And to be honest, I thought when he disallowed that goal in extra time, I was like, does it ever stop? Does it ever stop that everything goes against us? Fair decision maybe, but you feel that joy of scoring the goal, and maybe we didn't deserve it, but at last we got something, a bit of luck, and again is ruled out. But then we had to defend 1 or 2 set pieces afterwards, and we did that really well. And in the end, we also scored from a set piece maybe, because Joe had a few long throw-ins already. Now took it short to Dom. Now then you see a player with a lot of confidence, because he was waiting. Made the ball free, gave a great cross, Virgil header, and not by a coincidence Maka, who scored both, because he didn't play his best game for Liverpool ever, as no one did today. But the mentality he showed is what was needed today to win the game, and that's why it wasn't a coincidence that he was twice the player that scored the goal.
All the subs seem to make an impact. Rio will probably be the one that gets the headlines. He was fearless in what he did do in that cameo as well. You'd be delighted with him.
Yeah, I brought him in off the left, but for 10 minutes I don't think he even touched the ball. So then I changed it. I changed Federico and Rio to play him off the right, because our attacks went more over our right side than over our left. And he had, of course, that one great action where he outplayed, I think it was Nico Williams. And Hugo had a big chance, missed it. Went in a rebound, but was disallowed. So, it's nice for Rio, 17 years of age. There's no 17-year-old in the Premier League playing. I don't even think an 18-year-old. So for him to play that many minutes is already special. And then, I think I said 7 months ago was the last time we were lucky. And he was involved in that goal, in that moment. So nice for him, nice for us. But not the best first half, but a good win.
Just a quick one, and luck again plays a part, doesn't it? You have to change your team because Flo is not able to play. You're hoping you're going to be lucky and that it's not too serious a problem, that?
We don't expect it to be. The good thing is we have 1 week before we play West Ham. But he didn't felt 100%, and he knows now, after being 7 or 8 months in this league, that no matter how good a football player you are, if you're not 100% and you cannot compete 100% in the duels, in the second balls, in the sprints, then it's impossible to play. And that's why we made the right call not to play him. The good thing was that with Curtis Jones, that line is provided really well. We have with Curtis a very good player that wasn't supposed to start but could start now. And he played midfield later on to the fullback position. So if there was an injury, the best thing that could have happened was on the midfield, because for the rest we struggle a bit more.
Well, what a dramatic end to a pulsating second half at the City ground, but it all sort of burst to life in stoppage time there. And as a big a victory as it feels for Liverpool, Jamie, you couldn't help but feel sorry for Nottingham Forest, particularly after the effort they put into that first half.
Yeah, and I think the manager will be really pleased on the back of his first two games, one in Europe and one against one of the top teams in the Premier League. And the reason why I think he should be really confident this Nottingham Forest team can stay in the Premier League is because of the midfield three. I think it's one of the best sort of midfield threes in the Premier League. If you maybe take out the teams who are going for the title. And when I saw Wirtz wasn't playing today for Liverpool, I thought Liverpool would have a problem in the middle of the pitch. And that certainly was the case in the first half. So if you actually look at these players here, Sangare, you've got obviously Morgan Gibbs-White is in the 10, and then you've got Elliot Anderson in the number 8 role. And this just happened right throughout the first half, where they just took the ball off Liverpool's midfield. This was early in the game. Curtis Jones, Sangare, absolutely fantastic. And then lovely ball into Callum Hudson-Odoi. And how many times have we seen Alisson Becker come out and make that save? Probably the best we've seen in the Premier League in terms of dealing with 1v1 situations. And this happened continually in the first half with that midfield three. They're all involved again there. See, Elliot Anderson, this time he gets his shot away. And what's really interesting is, even if you just take it back, when you think of a balance of a midfield, and what you want is your holding midfield player here, holding the fort. You want one maybe attacking, running with the ball involved, and then one making a run off the ball. So there's a real sort of balance, I would say, in that midfield three. And as I said, in that first half, they were excellent. And it continued to the start of the second half. And this was a chance where Morgan Gibbs-White and then Sangare comes on, doesn't quite finish. So the only thing that let that midfield down was not getting, a goal or an assist in that first half.
Because it was one of complete dominance for Nottingham Forest. We can show you the stats of what that actually looked like at half-time. Arne Slot, I did say after the game, it was the worst 45 minutes of their season, or worst first half of their season. The fewest shots they've had as well, with just 2. But 12 from Nottingham Forest, actually the most that Liverpool have faced in a game. You have to go all the way back to May 2015. I think it was a Stoke game, Jamie, when actually Liverpool were 5-0 down at half-time. So really, they got away with one in that first half, and they knew it.
They did, and I said at half-time it was a horror show. We've seen some really poor performances this season, but that was right up there, I think, top of the list. And it had to improve in the second half, and it did. But you just want to go to the disallowed goal and the goal Liverpool scored. And I just want to look at the role the centre-backs played in it, who were probably two of the players who you wouldn't be too critical of, certainly in that first half. But, I mean, as you can imagine, I'm watching the game, and I was a bit frustrated with Virgil van Dijk here. So this was late in the game. And he just positions himself right next to the two centre-backs of Nottingham Forest. And look, Murillo links him, Milenkovic is behind him, and he can't actually move. So when the ball comes in, your best head of the ball can't get on the ball, because he's almost marked himself, standing in the centre of the box. And then comes out to Joe Gomez. So Bosley, again, the clip we'll get to shortly, for the winning goal. Allows Gomez to put it in, but it's poor. But look at Kanate here. He does absolutely fantastic. Here, keeps it alive. And Rio Engamoa here now does something I haven't seen a Liverpool wide player do all season. Go out as fullback, commit him, and put real quality into the box. And Ekitike has to score. And then Liverpool think they have scored, but Ola Reina is a very, very lucky man.
It's
for two reasons. Yeah,
bizarre sequence
for two reasons why. It comes out here wide. And just keep an eye on, we've mentioned Rio, but just keep an eye on the back post. We just run it on slowly now till we get Ekitike into shot. So Rio goes past his man, and what you've got here at the back post is Hugo Ekitike with 2 defenders at the back post, Milenkovic and Ola Aina at the back. It's criminal. He doesn't see him. A fullback always has to check his shoulder, but he must be able to hear him. He's breathing and running, making a run in behind him. and they just look in complete shock when they see that. Ekitike is in a brilliant position, misses it, but he gets away with it again, Ola Reina, because he should head that away. He's very lucky to think you've got that much time in the box to now control this and wait for it to come down. That has to be headed away there, so he's very, very fortunate. But the goal from McAllister was rightly disallowed, because as you can see there, clearly it hits him right on the elbow.
And as he told us after the game, he felt there was still time for him and his team to get another chance.
Well, maybe that was on the back of that, a couple of years ago, Liverpool scored a late winner in similar circumstances, again, with, I think, Darwin Núñez. But I mentioned the centre-backs again. I want to go to Virgil van Dijk. So, rightly now, he's putting himself in a position for the long throw. And what he's done is he's split the two centre-backs because Milenkovic is there now and Murillo's now marking him. So Joe Gomez.
Why is he taking it from there?
Well, I think he's about to have a run up, and he's about to take his run up for the long throw, Joe Gomez. But he sees Szoboszlai's free. But it's better from Virgil van Dijk. He doesn't mark himself. But now this ball comes to Szoboszlai. And the thing I love about this now is the actual football arrogance of it. But we'll come back to that when we look at it from another clip, another angle, I should say. But this. The quality is absolutely fantastic. And I think, again, Virgil van Dijk does brilliantly because he keeps that ball alive. I don't think Virgil van Dijk's trying to score. But when I talk about football arrogance with Szoboszlai, that ball comes to him now. It's easy to do that. And maybe if he loses the ball there, I'm criticising him. It's easy to go there. And maybe they are the right passes. I think last season or the year before, Szoboszlai makes those passes. I think now he's got the arrogance of, I'm the best player in this team. I'm one of the best players in the Premier League and European football, and I'm going to make something happen here. So he decides to almost take on his man where he's got easy passes, but again, that comes from confidence, arrogance. Not on the left foot, just gets half a yard, and then he puts it in. And then for me, Virgil van Dijk at that back post now, I think he's just trying to keep that alive and keep it in an area. And credit to McAllister. Listen, he had a really poor game, McAllister, along with a lot of Liverpool players in the game. But he gets the winning goal. But look at this from Szoboszlai, brilliant. He's just waiting for that moment to get that half a yard, and he's got it now. But can he deliver? Yes, he can. Brilliant from Van Dijk. And credit to McAllister. And what I would say as well is credit to the manager. And I'll tell you another reason why. Again, this is us looking at Virgil van Dijk.
Got a good chunk of his shirt there, as well.
And what he's definitely guiding that header back across goal. Some people would try and score from it. He would never be able to score from it because he wouldn't be able to generate the power. The reason I'm talking about McAllister is, listen, we're going to look at the offside here.
Yeah, it was questioned at the time, and remember that the previous goal, McAllister goal, was ruled out. And there was this very interesting delay again in the stadium and in the studio here with one or two excitable people watching, thinking, is this one going to get chalked off? And you can see by about that much, Virgil van Dijk, who made that header, is onside.
Well, I was very critical with VAR for the first one, but as I said, I'm a big VAR advocate after that one. But the interesting thing with McAllister, I go back to what the manager did. He brought Curtis Jones in late, and it kind of been easy for him. He had a poor first half, Curtis Jones. He made that change with Curtis Jones going to right back, Dominic Szoboszlai coming into midfield, but he didn't change positions. What happened was Curtis Jones was almost playing the vert role. Then, when he's made the change, Szoboszlai went into the McAllister, and McAllister went higher up the pitch. And listen, they are set pieces, if you like, where the disallowed goal and the goal have come from. But the fact that he was maybe in more advanced role, maybe a little bit credit to the manager, who I think made great substitutions.
Late drama again for Liverpool, and they extend their lead at the top of this list, which is the most 90th plus minute winners in Premier League history. 12 more now than Arsenal, 14 more than Manchester United. 3 of those for Liverpool have come this season. I suppose that is a good thing, isn't it, Jamie?
Listen, it's a great thing to have in your armoury, and I flagged this up, I think, on the show this afternoon, but that's not to do with this team. It's a Liverpool trait, that, you know, encompasses managers going back for a very long time. And I think if there was stats when, you know, it was the old First Division, I think it'd be very similar as well. So it's definitely something that the club have got, which is very special. And I know it annoys lots of opposition, as it does anyone. Someone gets a last-minute winner, it's a killer, isn't it? But I think it's something Liverpool have always had for a very long time. I think it will continue to have.
Important victory for Liverpool in the context of this race for Champions League football next season. They can't bear to think about a Champions League which doesn't include them. They are still sick, but they've made up ground on Manchester United, who play on Monday night at Everton, and on Chelsea, of course, dropped important points at home to Burnley, and also they're 2 points closer to Aston Villa, who drew at home against Leeds. How do you see this story? You weren't very optimistic about Liverpool's chances a couple of weeks ago, Jamie. How do you see this now?
I'm still not. And the reason I say that was more because of the performance today. That was a real worry how poor Liverpool were, and it was a throwback to games at the start of the season that Liverpool won very fortunately, as they did today. But it also reminds me a lot of games in that run when Liverpool lost 9 in 12. That's what it felt like, a throwback today. I was really worried about how Liverpool performed. And I said on the back of the Manchester City game, I'd be really interested how long Arne Slot sticks with this sort of a front forward. It's really offensive, really attacking. And at times it can leave that midfield exposed. And Liverpool have not got great legs, energy or pace in the team, and I think that really showed today. So as soon as the Premier League game, as they were in today, became end-to-end and fast and furious, they really struggled. And I think at some stage, Rio Ngamo has got to come into the team, or you may have to actually go with another midfield player and maybe lose probably a Gakpo or a Salah, maybe probably Gakpo initially. But I think Liverpool's sort of pace and penetration in the wide areas is really lacking.
It was tough on Forest. You saw the frustrations of Vitor Pereira, their new manager, when that goal went in, and it leaves Forest still perched just above the relegation zone with that 2-point advantage now over West Ham, who managed 1 point for themselves against Bournemouth. Did you see things from Forest, Jamie, as you said, that makes you think that they will manage to fight their way out of this?
On the flip side of what I've just said about Liverpool, I would say about Nottingham Forest, where if I look at the teams around them, especially West Ham and Tottenham at the moment, I'd struggle to see them putting in a first half performance like they did today against a top team. Liverpool are still one of the top teams in the country. So, yeah, I don't think I could see that from some of the other teams around them. I think that would give me confidence going forward about Nottingham Forest.
And just in terms of moving forward for Liverpool, Jamie, you mentioned the change, Salah coming off, Gakpo coming off, Ngamo coming on, who had such an impact in the game. Some might see this as a bit of a changing of the guard. And it was interesting, again, Salah's reaction. Again, he looked a bit sort of bewildered.
Well, listen, I think we said before the game, didn't we? This team is not the most Salah team anymore. It's more for Wirtz and Ekitike. But I mean, I hope Mo Salah there is not laughing about the fact that he doesn't think he should have come off. Listen, he had a poor game, so did Gakpo, and they're finding it really tough in the wide areas right now, Liverpool, in terms of pace and penetration, and that's why I think that young lad needs not so much a run of games. He should start every week, but he should be seen more than what he is now, just an impact. So I think he's got a little bit more than that. There's no doubt he's a really special talent, and he shouldn't be playing every week at that age. But Liverpool have a real dearth of quality in wide areas right now, and especially off the bench as well. I mean, Chiesa's come on, he's nowhere near the level of Chiesa in terms of starting a game for Liverpool in the Premier League, or even really coming off the bench. He made an impact early on this season, but for me now, the young lad has got to start getting a lot more minutes.
Certainly lit it up today, young Rio Ngamo, when he came onto the pitch at the City Ground. An important win in the end for his side, Liverpool.